There comes a time in life when solitude transforms, feeling less like loneliness and more like a true sense of freedom. As we grow older, we often begin to see the beauty in the quiet, the peace that comes with carving out our own space. It's not about shutting the world out, but about creating a life that feels aligned with your own rhythm. You might start to realize that living alone could bring you more joy, peace, and contentment than the constant hustle and bustle of a shared home. Maybe you've been wondering whether it's time to take that step and embrace solo living. The idea might have crossed your mind, and you've seen others navigate this path, sharing their thoughts and experiences in countless conversations online. What's clear is that many older adults are finding a renewed sense of self in the idea of living alone. They're discovering that solitude doesn't have to be empty. It can be a space of self-reflection, growth, and newfound freedom, much like the Stoic ideal of focusing on what truly matters. Stoicism teaches us to accept change with grace and to focus on what is within our control. For many, choosing to live alone becomes an empowering act, a way to shape their own environment and prioritize what brings them peace. It's about letting go of the need for external validation and embracing the quiet strength that comes from standing on your own. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." Living alone allows you to create a life where each moment, each quiet morning, and each evening walk is yours to savor. If you've been contemplating this step, there are signs that might help you decide if it's time to embrace the beauty of solo living. Do you find yourself yearning for more space and time to yourself? Do you feel more energized by a peaceful, quiet environment? Have you reached a point where you value solitude as a way to recharge and reflect? These feelings can be a gentle nudge that you're ready for this next chapter. A chapter where you get to write the rules. And if this resonates with you, why not take the next step with us? Subscribe to Stoic Rise Up for more content that helps you navigate this journey with strength and wisdom. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. Let's rise up together, embracing every phase of life with purpose and resilience. Number 1, you value peace and quiet more than ever. One of the most common reasons people choose to live alone, especially as they grow older, is a deep craving for peace. After years of being surrounded by the constant noise and movement of others, the desire for a quieter life becomes stronger. The once welcome sounds of a bustling household can start to feel overwhelming, and the idea of a serene space, one that you can shape entirely to your own rhythm, becomes increasingly appealing. Margaret, a woman in her early 60s, shared her experience on a forum, and it echoes what many have felt. "I love my grandchildren," she wrote, "but the constant noise and energy in the house were draining me. When they left, I was relieved to have my space back. That's when I knew I needed to live alone, permanently." Margaret's story highlights a truth that many of us encounter. There comes a time when stillness feels like a gift, a refuge from the busyness of life. If you find yourself cherishing those quiet moments, feeling a sense of relief when the house is empty, it could be a sign that living alone is the right choice for you. This desire aligns closely with the principles of Stoicism. Stoicism teaches us to value inner peace, to find contentment within ourselves, rather than being swayed by the external chaos around us. Living alone can be a way to cultivate this sense of peace, creating a space where you can reflect, recharge, and truly hear your own thoughts. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." In the context of solo living, this means recognizing that what you seek might not be found in a busy home filled with constant activity, but in the simplicity and tranquility of your own space. It's about finding contentment in the quiet. In the mornings when the sun filters through your window, or in the evenings spent reading a book without interruption. Living alone allows you to create an environment that nurtures your spirit, where you can focus on what truly matters to you, without the distraction of others. It's not about withdrawing from life, but about embracing the chance to live it more deliberately, with intention. If you find joy in the stillness, and if solitude feels like a relief rather than a burden, it may be time to listen to that inner voice and consider the beauty of creating a peaceful space all your own. In embracing this choice, you can build a life that aligns with your values. A life where peace is not just a fleeting moment, but a way of being, something you create and cherish every day. Number 2. You enjoy your own company. As you grow older, you might discover that your own company is not only enough, but it's also deeply fulfilling. Perhaps you've developed hobbies that keep you engaged, a love for reading that transports you to different worlds, or simply find joy in reflecting on your day in peace. This newfound appreciation for solitude is a powerful sign that living alone might suit you perfectly. On a forum, a 70-year-old man shared his experience, describing how he discovered a love for gardening. "When I'm out in my garden, it's just me and the earth. I don't need anyone to talk to. I find peace in the quiet rhythm of my day," he wrote. "It was during one of those peaceful mornings I realized I don't need a roommate or a family around constantly to feel fulfilled." His story is a beautiful reminder that fulfillment doesn't always come from being surrounded by others. It can blossom in the quiet spaces where you feel most connected to yourself. Learning to appreciate your own company is a deeply empowering realization. It's a step toward embracing the Stoic principle of self-sufficiency, finding contentment within, rather than relying on external validation. Stoicism teaches us that true peace comes from understanding what we can control, and one of those things is how we spend our time and who we spend it with. Living alone allows you to shape your days according to your own desires and rhythms, without needing to accommodate the needs or schedules of others. When you cultivate this comfort with yourself, you open the door to a life where solitude isn't a void but a canvas, a space where you can pursue your interests, reflect on your thoughts, and simply be present in the moment. It's not about rejecting companionship, but about recognizing the value of your own presence. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "The greatest blessings of mankind are within us and within our reach." For some, those blessings are found in the quiet joys of tending a garden, reading a good book, or sitting on the porch with a cup of tea. Living alone gives you the space to honor that solitude, to explore what truly brings you peace, and to build a life that reflects your inner contentment. It's a chance to create a rhythm that feels right for you, a life where you don't just exist, but thrive, in the company of your own thoughts and the simple pleasures of each day. Number 3, you have strong boundaries and prioritize your well-being. Many older people discover that, with age, comes a deeper understanding of their own needs, leading to stronger boundaries than they had in their younger years. They've learned what they require to truly thrive and have become less willing to compromise those needs for the sake of others. If you've reached a point where you're no longer willing to sacrifice your comfort or well-being for others, it might be time to consider the freedom that comes with living alone. Take Liz's story, for example, which I came across in a comment on an online video. She shared how living with her adult daughter and grandchildren, whom she loved dearly, began to feel like an infringement on her emotional and mental well-being. "I loved them dearly, but they were constantly crossing boundaries, leaving the house messy, making noise late at night," she wrote. "And I was starting to lose my sense of peace. I realized that it was time to prioritize my own needs." Liz's story highlights a truth that many people come to understand as they age. Boundaries aren't just about keeping others out, they're about making space for yourself. The Stoics remind us that our well-being is something we should protect, valuing our inner peace above the chaos of external demands. In choosing to live alone, you're making a decision to respect your own limits and to create a space where those limits are honored. It's a way of saying, "This is what I need, and I'm not willing to compromise it anymore." Living alone allows you to craft a sanctuary where your well-being takes center stage. It's a place where you can control your environment, keep things just as you like them, and ensure that your need for peace and comfort is met. It's about creating a space where your sense of self can flourish, without the constant pressure to adapt to the needs and preferences of others. This doesn't mean that you care any less about the people in your life. It means that you recognize the importance of caring for yourself, too. By setting firm boundaries and choosing to live alone, you give yourself the gift of prioritizing your own needs without feeling guilty for doing so. It's an act of self-respect, a way of ensuring that your home becomes a true reflection of what makes you feel whole. Number 4, you're ready for more control over your space and time. As we age, the desire for control over our environment and schedule often becomes more pronounced. After years of accommodating the needs and preferences of others, the idea of shaping your own day from start to finish can become incredibly appealing. Maybe you've been sharing a home with family or a roommate, and while you cherish those relationships, you're ready to have full control over the rhythm of your life. Living alone gives you the ultimate say in how your space looks and how you spend your time. It allows you to create a daily routine that fits your needs perfectly, without having to compromise. A commenter on a forum captured this sentiment beautifully, saying, "I was 65 when I realized I was tired of compromising on everything. What time we had dinner, how clean the house should be, what shows we watched. I love my family, but I wanted to live on my own terms. Living alone gave me that freedom." This shift is about more than just enjoying solitude. It's about reclaiming your autonomy. It's the ability to choose everything from the smallest details, like when you wake up, what music to play in the morning, or what kind of tea to brew, to bigger decisions, like how to decorate your space or when to have guests over. For many older adults, this level of control isn't just a luxury, it's a deeply valued freedom. Stoicism teaches us the importance of controlling what we can and accepting what we cannot. Living alone embodies this principle, allowing you to take charge of your environment while letting go of the need to negotiate every little decision with others. It's about crafting a space that feels like yours, a home where your values and preferences guide each choice. Living alone means that your space becomes a true reflection of who you are, with no need to accommodate the tastes or routines of others. It's a life where you can decide when to embrace silence and when to fill the room with your favorite music, where you set the schedule that feels best for your energy levels. This kind of freedom can feel like a breath of fresh air, an opportunity to live in a way that truly honors your needs and desires. For many, this newfound autonomy becomes a key part of what makes life fulfilling. It's not about being alone. It's about being free to live life on your own terms. And for those who find themselves craving this kind of freedom, living alone can be the perfect choice to rediscover a sense of self and embrace a life that feels entirely, authentically their own. Number 5, you've outgrown the need to care for others full-time. As a caregiver, whether for children, a spouse, or aging parents, you may have spent decades prioritizing the needs of others. It's a role that requires tremendous love, patience, and selflessness. But there may come a time when you start to feel that it's time to focus on yourself. When you realize that the next chapter of your life could be about reclaiming your own time and energy. If you've reached a stage where the thought of being responsible for someone else's daily care no longer appeals to you, and instead you crave time to focus on your own needs and desires, it could be the perfect moment to consider living alone. A poignant story shared on a Reddit thread captured this shift in perspective. One woman wrote, "After my husband passed, I realized I didn't want to take on the role of caretaker for anyone else. I loved my family, but I was ready to focus on my own needs and desires. It's liberating to finally put myself first." Her experience is one that many caregivers come to understand. The realization that it's okay to step back from the role of constant giver and to prioritize yourself for a change. Living alone can be a way to find the space you need to rediscover who you are beyond the responsibilities you've shouldered for so long. It's not about turning away from your loved ones, but rather about allowing yourself the freedom to explore your own interests without the daily demands that caregiving often brings. When you live alone, you gain the opportunity to focus fully on the things that bring you joy. Whether that means immersing yourself in hobbies you've always wanted to try, dedicating time to your health and well-being, or simply enjoying the freedom to decide how to spend each day, living solo offers the space to reconnect with your own identity. It's a time to reflect, recharge, and remember that your needs and well-being matter too. After years of putting others first, choosing to live alone can feel like a form of self-care. one that allows you to create a life that revolves around your own happiness and fulfillment. It's a chance to discover new passions, meet new people, or simply enjoy the peaceful rhythms of life at your own pace. And most importantly, it's a reminder that it's never too late to start focusing on yourself. Number 6. You want to age on your own terms. Aging alone doesn't mean you'll be isolated. It means you'll have the freedom to make choices that suit your lifestyle and preferences. Many older adults find that as they age, they want to do so on their own terms, in their own space, without the constant presence or oversight of others. It's about embracing the freedom to live life according to your own rhythms, while still knowing that help is there if and when you need it. One man shared a particularly insightful comment on a forum, saying, "I want to decide when and how I ask for help. I don't want my children or anyone hovering over me all the time. I'm capable of making decisions for myself, and living alone allows me to maintain that independence." His words speak to a common desire among many, maintaining the ability to steer the course of your own life, even as circumstances change. If you value your autonomy and want the freedom to make decisions about your life without outside interference, living alone can offer that sense of control. It allows you to create a home environment that meets your needs, reflecting who you are and what you enjoy, while also giving you the power to determine when to reach out for support. It's not about rejecting the idea of help or companionship, but about having the space to ask for it on your own terms. Living alone means you can arrange your life to suit your preferences, from the way you set up your living space to the way you structure your daily routine. And when the time comes that you do need a helping hand, whether it's from friends, family, or a professional service, you can make those choices yourself, preserving your sense of independence. This balance between autonomy and access to support is what makes solo living so appealing to many older adults. It's about knowing that while you may be living alone, you are still in charge of how you navigate this chapter of your life, with the freedom to shape it as you see fit. Number 7. You're ready for a fresh start. Living alone as an older person can represent a fresh chapter, a chance to reinvent yourself, free from the expectations or routines you may have followed for years. If you find yourself yearning for something new, a different pace, or simply the freedom to explore what truly brings you joy, living alone might provide the space you need to start anew. One man, aged 67, shared his thoughts in an online forum. "I'd been living in the same house for over 30 years. After my wife passed, I realized that staying in the same place with the same routines wasn't what I wanted. I downsized to a small apartment, started taking art classes, and living alone gave me the fresh start I needed." His story is a reminder that it's never too late to change course, to pursue passions you might have set aside, or discover new ones that bring you a sense of purpose. Living alone can offer a blank slate, an opportunity to let go of old patterns and create a life that reflects who you are now, rather than who you were. It's a chance to explore interests that may have been put on hold, to take up hobbies you've always been curious about, or simply to enjoy the freedom of structuring your days as you wish. Whether it's taking a new class, learning to cook, traveling, or just embracing the peace of a simpler lifestyle, living solo can help you reconnect with yourself in meaningful ways. And while it can feel daunting to step away from the familiar, the rewards of carving out this new chapter can be profound. It's about recognizing that you have the freedom to design this stage of your life, unencumbered by past routines or the expectations of others. Living alone can provide the perfect environment to rediscover what excites you, what makes you feel fulfilled, and how you want to spend your time. The beauty of this fresh start lies in the fact that it's yours to shape. You don't need to follow anyone else's blueprint. You can create a life that feels true to you, where each day holds the potential for new discoveries. So if you've been feeling that itch for change, that desire to redefine what your life looks like, know that it's never too late to begin again. Living alone could be the door that opens to a whole new world of possibilities. Number 8. You're craving minimalism and simplicity. As we get older, the desire to simplify our lives often becomes stronger. The weight of too many possessions, too many obligations, and the general busyness of life can start to feel overwhelming. You might find yourself yearning for a more peaceful, uncluttered existence, a life where there's room to breathe and space to focus on what truly matters. If you feel that downsizing and living more simply could bring you peace, it might be a clear sign that living alone is the right choice for this new chapter of your life. There's a powerful story I came across about a woman who decided to embrace minimalism in her 70s. She shared, "I realized that I was holding on to so many things that no longer served me. Old furniture, memorabilia, even relationships that drained me. Once I moved into my own space, I embraced a simpler way of life. Fewer possessions, fewer obligations, and more time to focus on what truly matters." Her story speaks to the liberating feeling that can come with letting go, shedding the layers of stuff and commitments that no longer align with who you are today. Living alone can provide the perfect opportunity to declutter, not just your space, but your mind as well. It's a chance to create an environment that feels light, where every item you keep has a purpose or brings you joy. And it's not just about getting rid of physical possessions. It's also about letting go of emotional clutter, old habits, and even draining relationships that no longer serve your well-being. This shift towards simplicity is closely aligned with Stoic philosophy, which emphasizes focusing on what is essential and finding peace in a life unburdened by excess. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Living alone can help you focus on what you truly value, rather than being weighed down by what you don't need. If the idea of letting go of excess and creating a simpler, more manageable life appeals to you, living alone can give you the space and freedom to pursue it. It's a chance to live more intentionally, to wake up each day in a home that feels like a true sanctuary. By downsizing and simplifying, you're not just clearing out clutter. You're making room for the things that bring you joy, and for the peace of mind that comes with knowing that you are living in a way that aligns with your deepest needs. Number 9. You want to make your own decisions without compromise. As an older adult, you may have spent much of your life making compromises with others, whether it was with a partner, raising children, or adjusting to roommates. While those experiences can be enriching, they often require putting others' needs and preferences before your own. But if you've reached a point where you no longer want to negotiate every decision and you long for a life where you can prioritize what feels right for you, it could be a strong indication that living alone might be the right choice. One woman shared a story about how she found the freedom to live life on her own terms after decades of compromise. "I always had to consider other people's preferences, from what we ate for dinner to where we went on vacation. Now, I live alone, and I get to choose everything from the color of my walls to the music I listen to. It's liberating to make decisions based solely on my own desires." Her words reflect a powerful shift, the ability to shape your life entirely around your own wishes, without the need to make constant adjustments for others. Living alone allows you to reclaim the power to make decisions that align with your personal preferences and values. It's the freedom to paint your walls in your favorite shade, to eat whatever you crave, without considering another palate, and to curate your days in a way that feels most fulfilling to you. It's about creating a space that feels like home in the deepest sense, one that reflects who you are, free from compromise. This autonomy can be incredibly rewarding. It's a chance to rediscover what makes you happy, what brings you peace, and what you genuinely enjoy, without the distractions of accommodating others. It's not about rejecting companionship or the bonds you've built over the years. It's about honoring the stage of life where your needs come to the forefront. Living alone can be a path to profound self-discovery, where you regain control over the direction of your life. For many, this freedom is not only refreshing, but essential, a way to truly live in alignment with their own desires. And it's a reminder that after years of compromise, you've earned the right to shape a life that is fully your own. Number 10. You're ready for emotional independence. Mental independence is a powerful indicator that living alone might be the right next step for you. As you age, you may discover that you no longer need the constant presence of others to feel emotionally grounded. Instead, you've cultivated the resilience and self-awareness to navigate your feelings independently without relying on others for validation or support. A commenter on a forum once shared, "For years, I always felt like I needed someone around me, whether it was my children or a partner, to feel emotionally stable. But over time, I learned to find that strength within myself. Living alone now is a joy because I trust in my own emotional resilience. I can process my feelings, find peace, and I no longer need someone else's presence to feel okay." Her words reflect a transformation that many experience as they grow older, learning to find comfort in their own company and developing the ability to manage their emotions without external reassurance. This journey to emotional self-reliance is a profound one, often leading to a newfound appreciation for solitude. If you're at a point where your emotional well-being is no longer tethered to others, and you feel confident in your ability to navigate your inner world independently, living alone can provide the ideal space for continued growth. It's an opportunity to deepen your relationship with yourself, to cultivate inner peace, and to embrace a life where you thrive on your own terms. Living alone in this context isn't about shutting others out. It's about embracing the freedom to nurture your own emotional landscape. It means creating a life where you are your own anchor, where your happiness and stability are not dependent on someone else's presence. This kind of independence can bring a deep sense of fulfillment and a quiet joy in knowing that you have everything you need within yourself. Number 11. You want to focus on your personal growth and self-discovery. For many older people, living alone can create the perfect environment for personal growth and self-discovery. After spending years in roles like parent, spouse, or caregiver, you might find yourself ready to explore who you are outside of those identities. Living alone allows you to focus on yourself without distractions, giving you the time and mental space to pursue new interests, rediscover old passions, or simply reflect on the next chapter of your life. A woman in her late 60s shared a poignant story on a forum. "I spent so much of my life focused on others that I forgot what made me happy. Once I started living alone, I picked up painting again, and it felt like I was reconnecting with a part of myself that had been buried for years. Living alone gave me the freedom to explore that side of me without worrying about anyone else's needs." Her experience is a reminder that living alone is not just about being by yourself. It's about being able to fully explore who you are when no one else's needs are taking center stage. Living alone provides the opportunity to dive into self-discovery and personal growth in ways that may not have been possible when you were balancing multiple roles. It's a chance to reflect on the things that truly bring you joy and to revisit interests that may have been set aside. Maybe it's a creative pursuit like painting, writing, or music. Or perhaps it's the simple pleasure of having time to read, take long walks, or even learn something new. This stage of life can be incredibly enriching when approached as a time to nurture yourself, to discover what makes you feel fulfilled, and to shape a life that feels deeply authentic to who you are now. It's about creating space to listen to your own voice, to explore your desires without the weight of past responsibilities. And in doing so, you may find a sense of renewal and freedom that brings a new kind of joy to each day. Living alone can be a powerful way to embrace this chapter, turning solitude into an opportunity for growth. It's a time to reconnect with yourself, rediscover the things that light you up, and craft a life that feels like it truly belongs to you. Number 12. You're ready to create your own routine and embrace flexibility. As you get older, your routine and schedule may become more important to you. Living with others often requires a certain level of flexibility to accommodate their needs and schedules. But when you live alone, you gain the freedom to shape your day exactly how you want, aligned perfectly with your own energy levels and preferences. Whether you want to rise early for a peaceful morning walk or stay up late indulging in a captivating book, you have the power to structure your days as you see fit. I came across a post from a man in his early 70s who found immense joy in crafting his own routine after moving into his own place. He wrote, "I used to feel pressured to keep up with my family's schedule, meals at certain times, socializing when I didn't feel like it. Now that I live alone, I eat when I want, exercise when it feels good, and sleep when I'm tired. It's refreshing to have a routine that's entirely my own. His words capture a beautiful truth about solo living, the freedom to let your days unfold according to your needs and desires. If you find joy in setting your own pace and adapting your day to how you feel, living alone offers the ultimate flexibility to design a life that works perfectly for you, without needing to adjust to anyone else's schedule. It's about reclaiming a sense of rhythm that matches who you are now, not who you had to be in past roles or relationships. Living alone as an older person isn't about isolating yourself. It's about reclaiming your space, your peace, and your independence. It's an opportunity to truly listen to your own needs and create a life that feels right for you. If you resonate with any of the signs above, it might be time to embrace this new chapter in your life. In online communities, I've seen countless people sharing stories of the joy and contentment they've found by living alone. It can be a journey of self-discovery, a time when you finally get to focus on yourself in a way that may not have been possible before. So if you find yourself yearning for quiet, enjoying your own company, or craving more control and autonomy, consider the possibility that living alone could be exactly what you need at this stage in life. Trust yourself and know that it's okay to prioritize your own happiness and peace. Feel free to share your own thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your journey could inspire others who are considering the same path. If you found the video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to help us reach more wonderful people like you. Thank you for watching.